Loma Linda is sponsored by Teamsters Local 1932, protecting the future of working families. Teamsters1932.org.
Hey, feeling good, like I should. When in dark, I walk around the neighborhood. Feeling blessed, never stressed. Got that sunshine on my Sunday best.
Welcome back, everybody. Happy Sunday. You're listening to Whatever Works on KCAA 1050 AM and Express 106.5 FM. I'm your host, Sam Works.
I'm Kyle Kerrigan.
And tonight it's just the two of us. No, just kidding. We do have Joe here in the studio. Thank you, Joe, for being our board op every Sunday. This show is about whatever works, and today we're going to be talking about a couple topics. Nothing crazy. We don't want to really stick to any topics tonight, but if you guys want to chime in, if you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, or if you guys want us to talk about whatever, this is the line to call.
I don't know what it is.
Oh, it's right there, dude. The line's right there.
Oh. 909-383-1000. So that's 909-383-1000.
We haven't even started the show, and I see Joe picking up. Okay. I thought you were picking up a notepad and a pencil. I was like, dang, Joe.
I was like, Joe, come on. Give us a break.
He's been very invested in our shows recently.
That's
that's
good.
the truth right there.
That's good.
Yeah, so we did end up moving. We're out here in San Bernardino. It benefits everyone in the radio station except me. It's a little further drive. Well, probably you too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this is a really nice station now.
Oh, I love it. I love the studio.
Yeah.
I'm super excited to bring, past guests on here so they can see what we've done to the place,
Yeah.
When I say like what we've done, it's not me and you, but
Yeah,
what the station has done. Yeah, what the station has done. So, before we get to any topics, I do want to give a little shout out to our sponsors.
SNJRadio.com. No negative news, no politics, just feel good music.
And then also shout out to West Coast Solar Cleaning. That is a local solar cleaning company here in the Inland Empire, ready to clean your guys' solars. Also, if you guys have windows that need to be washed or your house needs to be cleaned up, pressure washed, any exterior work that needs to be done around your home, especially before the holidays, West Coast Solar Cleaning. People are calling 909-769-6220. That's 909-769-6220 for West Coast Solar Cleaning.
And also, Clash City Entertainment, our newest sponsors. We actually have a show on the 22nd. It's going to be at 3 Iron Brewing off of 898 South Via Lata in Colton. So that's going to start at 6 p.m. It's free and it's all ages.
Oh, very nice. Who's going to be performing?
We have Eli Nix, Kid Dryden, James SB, and G Baby. James actually was on our show twice.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so, Cam Archer is going to host, and then we're going to be doing the sound. So it's going to be our first event
of the year
since 2019.
Oh wow, since 2019.
Yeah. We did do a show earlier this year with Star Cali, shout out to Star, and Liberate Justice Entertainment. But this is going to be our first dedicated show where we do, the sound. So
that's very awesome, dude. Glad to hear that. Clash City is back.
Clash City is back. November 22nd.
Yes. Speaking of representing Clash City and stuff, we went to the I want to call it the Inland Empire Music Award, but it's the Only Empire.
Yeah, it's the Only Empire Award show.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
We got to go up there again and present is it the Art of the Year?
No, that was the first year. Okay. This year was I think it was who had the best stage presence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie to you, I was a little confused when Jay Kasai was like, "Oh, you guys are presenting this award. It's for like art or something, like something art," and he made it sound like we're not talking about the artist. And I know it was a music award, but for whatever reason, my head went to like something else. Like,
Oh yeah.
you know, so I'm on stage talking about our radio show, and I'm like, oh yeah, we interview people who are artists and people who just do like actual art, you know, like
Yeah.
if I would have known that, I would have been a little more on track with that. But it was still a really
Yeah,
good
it was still
event.
amazing.
It was an awesome event, full house. Actually,
This year was a lot more people.
it was overpacked.
Yeah.
I called Jay. He didn't answer, but I was like, hey, dude. I was like, hey, congratulations. You guys are gonna have to find a new location for next year because it was so packed
Yeah,
this
it was
year.
amazing.
It was very awesome, and you know, last year was their first time doing it,
Yeah.
and you can tell this year they were just put together.
Right. Yeah.
I saw Jay last year for the first time. He was running and freaking out, and you know,
I think we all were.
didn't have time to talk. And then this time around, you know, he was,
Yeah.
he was very welcoming and just he was ready. He was ready to rock and roll, and it turned out to be a really awesome experience for everybody. And I can't wait until next year. You know,
Yeah. Next year's gonna be. I don't even know if it's gonna be at the Garcia Center.
that's what I'm saying. Like,
It's. I mean, this year was like triple the
yeah,
people.
it might have to be at the Enterprise building, dude. I think that would be.
It
cool.
might have to be at the Enterprise building.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that'll be really cool. So, anyways, a lot of things have been happening,
Yeah.
and I just wanted to touch base on something. I wanted to get your opinion too. Okay, so
Okay.
at my work, we place bets for like everything. Okay, for everything. Usually it's Sunday night or a Sunday game day, and we put money down for games and stuff. And then one of my coworkers, he put money on who was gonna win the presidential election.
Yeah.
And then he won. And today I was like, oh, you know what I should have put money on was like the Tyson and Jake Paul fight.
me too. Because I knew who was gonna win, and I hate to say it.
Yeah, let's talk about that for a second.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that, first of all? Go ahead.
You know, I think I have a lot of thoughts for one, but you know, and I was talking to Cody about it earlier that day. I said, I think this is how exactly how it's gonna go, and I should have put money on it. I said it's gonna go 8 rounds, and it's gonna be decision in Paul's favor, because there are stipulations to the contract that Mike couldn't do, and you know, huh? Oh yeah, and so
He was biting his gloves.
Yeah,
Yeah, he was doing that a lot.
Yeah, he was biting his gloves, but you know he couldn't uppercut, and yeah, it was in the contract. Yeah, I know. So he couldn't do a signature move. He couldn't do a couple other moves too, which I forgot. And then it had to go more than 6 rounds for him to get his full purse. And so I was like,
That's horrible.
when I read that, I was like, Jake's gonna win because, you know, Jake's been training, and if you watch the fight, you know that he was kind of distancing himself from any blows that might be, you know, irregular for Mike. And as soon as I saw the first couple rounds, I knew it was over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So on my end, so the first 2 rounds, once Tyson came in close, Jake Paul would just hug him because
Yeah.
he knew. He was like, I can't let him get close to me because he got those power punches still,
Yeah.
even as a 58-year-old
Oh yeah,
man.
he's scary.
But there was like Jake Paul threw his one punch. I was like, because Mike Tyson, like his reflexes are now slow. Like you can tell. And I was like, you know, he wasn't light on his feet. He wasn't pivoting. And I was like, it was so sad to see. And a matter of fact, Jake Paul, usually he flaunts his victories. He knew it wasn't, he shouldn't have done it.
Yeah.
You know, like he felt bad. Like it was just.
No, he did.
You know what I mean? And everyone around the world was just very disappointed. I'm actually surprised.
I'll tell you, the one person that got robbed that night was Amanda Serrano.
The fight prior?
The fight prior.
Oh, my.
That was
Dude,
crazy.
Even-
she should have won.
even the stats on that. She had twice as much punches,
Twice as much punch,
Way
twice as
more
much landings,
accuracy, everything, and they still gave it to the one who
and they gave it to Kaylee Taylor.
Oh,
Taylor.
my goodness,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
And, hey, she's a champ alone just by standing there on the ring, just, with her eyelids split open. just
Yeah.
hanging out, just talking. I'm like, I'll be like, I need to get this stitched up. I gotta go. You know?
Oh
Like,
yeah, no,
I am
she was
so
not thinking about
surprised.
that at all.
And that's another thing. Like when we find out, because it was the commentators, the audience, everyone disagreed.
Yeah,
with that, you
every
know?
single person there.
Except for the judges, obviously.
Yeah.
And that's regardless of how Tyson and Paul went down. I was like, the judges they're no bueno. But it got to the point where it was just hands down, like, okay, well, Tyson, you know, like, you can't really say Tyson won that one. Like, even the judges knew that, you know.
Yeah.
But it was the referees weren't being honest on that one. So
No, definitely. Yeah, that was the rob of the century. I think was Amanda. It should have went to Amanda Serrano.
wasn't that their rematch too?
It was a rematch. Yeah, it was part 2.
Yeah, I just can't believe all those headbutts, man. I'm like.
That was crazy.
Like they literally trained her to like headbutt, you know, without like there's speculations only because like when you're fighting or when you're boxing, fighting in general, like you shouldn't be leaning back. One, that knocks off your balance. For two, you know, you're putting yourself in range. So it makes sense to like keep moving forward or pressing forward, being on the aggressive. But like in boxing, you know, there are rules, you know.
Yeah.
And she's over here leaning forward, but leaning too far forward to where she can make that argument where it's like, I didn't mean to headbutt, but it's like, look how many times you headbutt her, you know,
Yeah.
like fool me once. And then like,
yeah, and she still argued it even after she won. She said, "Look, I got my point deducted. What's the point?"
yeah. And she was like, and then when they asked about like, oh, cause you know, the commentators and the audience, they don't agree with it. They're like, well, at the end of the day, it's the judges who say who won. So I
That was
like,
such a cop out answer.
dang, you know?
She was cold for that.
Talking about cop out, Logan Paul talking.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, come on,
Yeah,
you know. And I thought it was funny when he was coming out. Logan Paul's all spraying like their body spray or whatever.
Yeah.
You know? I'm like, he's really trying to market his stuff. I was like, this
Yep.
is ridiculous. It reminded me of WWE. Like,
Oh, yeah.
coming out in the car and like just super fancy. And I told Mark, because Mark was watching it, super funny. If you guys ever watch a fighting match, like, bro,
That's gonna be entertaining.
dude, it is entertaining because like I'm watching, you know, I'm analyzing, it's all in my head.
Yeah.
But you see Mark just like get in there, like he's like doing little sharp movements. I was like he's getting frustrated, you know.
Yeah.
And the whole time I was thinking, oh, Tyson's just gonna wait until round 7 or 8 to like really start laying some bombs. But like he
I
showed
thought that, but
nothing.
yeah,
Nothing.
we
But
could tell after like round 3, Tyson, you really saw his age get to him.
everyone, bro, yeah.
Like I thought it was gonna be like a first or second round knockout, Tyson win, but if they're gonna make him like go 8 rounds, like there's no way he could do 8 rounds nowadays.
Yeah.
Regardless of his age.
And I don't know who had the advantage on the 2 minutes around because, like Mike Tyson, he starts off strong, but you know, it takes time for him to warm up and get into the game.
Yeah.
And then boom, 2 minutes is over like within seconds. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it also gives Jake Paul an advantage because he has time to breathe. And
And he gets more stamina.
it was honestly just really sad to see.
It
Like,
was.
I'm not
Yeah,
gonna lie.
that fight shouldn't have happened.
Yeah. So, but I knew from the beginning, I was like, I don't really think Tyson has that fire in him, you know, like
Right.
he used to. So it really showed. But hey, you know what? Honestly, he's a dog for like
He is.
continuing to like box, you know, like
Oh yeah.
like to actually go up there and do it. I'm like,
Yeah, and he actually trained Logan Paul when he fought KSI, and
oh really?
yeah,
I didn't know that.
yeah, he did. And he's a really good trainer. Like he's really good at fighting, but he's good at like translating that to other people too. Because not everyone can do that.
Yeah, and vice versa either.
Yeah.
Like, there are some really good trainers out there, but not, can't do really good at the ring. You know.
Yeah.
They're trainers for a reason, and then others like they're just bred to fight and not really know how to train or things like that.
Yeah,
So.
like one of the best hockey players, Wayne Gretzky. They gave him a team to coach, and they only won like 5 games that year.
Really.
Yeah, and then they fired him because he was a really good player. He's one, like, people call him the greatest NHL player to ever live, but he couldn't translate it to other players or teach it. It was just something that he was naturally good at.
Interesting.
Yeah.
No, that's pretty crazy. Yeah, and going back to like the NFL, because we're at my work we've been watching all the games and stuff. All these games have other than the Detroit versus the Jaguars today, they lost by like
it was like 54-6.
50 points, bro. I was like, oh my gosh.
I wasn't surprised. I
was surprised by that big of a gap.
Honestly, the Lions are probably going all the way.
Yeah.
And mainly I want that to happen because I put money down on it. But no, I put 85 in Vegas for the Lions to beat the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. The Lions to make it and then parlay beating the Chiefs.
Yeah. Every time I see the Lions play, I think of this guy on social media who does the ice challenge every morning.
Really?
Yeah, and he says he will do it every single day until the Lions get
Oh,
to the
I know
Super
who
Bowl.
you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he gives out really good quotes and motivational
Yeah,
stuff.
I know who you're talking about.
But the thing is, if you guys ever seen this guy on Instagram or social media or any like site, it would be like he's out on the East Coast or I don't know where
He's in
exactly.
Canada.
Canada?
Yeah.
That's even worse. Like it's early in the morning, and he was like, "Oh, it's negative 17 like Celsius out here, and it's X amount of degrees in the water," and he does it every single morning. He's like, and he said, "I'm gonna do it until the Detroits make it to the Super Bowl."
Yeah.
And then I was thinking to myself, honestly, that's pretty crazy, and he'll probably continue to do it even after the Super Bowl, just because like he's so used to it now and the benefits. But let me backtrack here. It's not that he's used to it, okay? Because a lot of things, like when things are hard, like things don't get easier.
Right.
You just build a, what's the word I'm looking for?
I know what you're talking about.
A tolerance.
Yeah.
You just build a tolerance to it. Like it still sucks.
Yeah.
Like you think
It just sucks less.
I don't know if it sucks
No.
less. It's just that willpower. You
Yeah,
know?
it's the willpower.
It's the willpower. And so I mean I have this leg injury, right? And we're gonna talk about that, I guess now since we're gonna transition to it. But the doctors say, hey, like I asked him, I'm a okay, here's what happened. So my leg split open, everybody. Okay. Turns out I also have a staph infection on it, but we're getting that figured out. It came from a blood clot in my thigh, long story, whatever, right? I just have this massive wound on my leg. And I was like, I'm a server. Should I continue working or get time off? And they're like, oh, you can still work. I'm like, great.
Nice.
Like,
thanks.
because the time when it really hurts is like when I'm walking. Like it hurts all the time. It really does. But it's been like 2 weeks now. The pain hasn't decreased or increased or whatever. Like the pain level is still the same, and I have to deal with it every single day. Which I'm not. Not that I'm not complaining. There's people who go through pain every single day, like back problems and stuff. But it's relatively new, like this wound for me, Mm-hmm. And to walk, it brings my pain level to like an 8. And being a server, I'm on my feet walking back and forth, and I'm limping. I got like this hurt face on my face, and it's not like every day it's getting easier for me. It's just like, honestly, at this point, like I'm exhausted about the pain in my leg.
Yeah.
Like I can handle the pain and it sucks. It really, really sucks. But I'm just like tired of feeling this pain right now.
Right. Yeah.
And the doctors are like, well, because I'm on blood thinners, right? So the doctors are like, hey, well, just, we can prescribe you narcotics, but it's going to take a while for your leg to heal. And you're on blood thinners right now. So you can either take Tylenol or we can prescribe you narcotics. And I don't really have the best history with like narcotics and pills and things like that. So I was like, oh, I'll just take Tylenol. But let me tell you, Tylenol doesn't do anything, dude.
No, it doesn't.
I'm like,
No.
oh my gosh. And then I'm eating them like candy. You know what I mean? Because it's like the pain is still there. It's like, I just want, But thankfully, you gave me a cane. It was like you took it from your dad, or your dad gave it to you to give it to me. I used my cane. Okay, so we went to Bass Pro.
Yeah.
And I told my lady, I said, hey, I have a cane. And she's like, okay, that's fine, whatever. but she didn't know I was gonna pull it out and use it like right then and there. Like she just thought like, oh, he has a cane like in general, you know?
Yeah.
And I get out of the car and I pull out the cane and she looks at me, and there's like a slight judge, you know? She's like, really? And I was like, I told you I have a cane. Like, you know, being 25 years old, rocking a cane is like, it's kind of tough, you know, to the public eye. But I was like, hey, you gave me the green light. I can use this, you know. But I don't even know how to use a cane. Like that's the thing. Like,
Yeah.
especially I walk really fast. People tell me all the time. You know, they're like, hey, slow down, or you should be walking with me and keep my pace, whatever. I walk really fast. Like with a cane, I'm just like, you know, I don't know. It's ridiculous. I don't use the cane when I'm serving. I kind of just suck it up. But yeah, it's just it's painful, you know. And then like people ask like, oh, what's wrong with your leg? Like right now, I just tell them like life just took its own course. Like that's what I've been saying nowadays, because it's like so exhausting to be like, well, this is
tell everybody.
Yeah, you know. And it's like everyone you see like, oh, why are you limping? It's like, sit down. It's gonna be a while, you know. But
I feel like you can't hide it from kids though. They'll always ask. Kids and drunk people.
Yeah, yeah, or people who are in pain themselves, like who have like leg problems, like even the slightest limp, they see it, you know, they catch it. Like, oh, you got like knee problems or something? I'm like, nah, my leg just split open, and they're like, oh my gosh, you know, it's like
you gotta explain.
Yeah, but you know what the hardest thing for me is, because you know how we always used to talk about like when we get deep in like our philosophies and stuff, and so one of the things with me is, all right, so the Marine Corps, okay, specifically the Marine Corps, but the military in general, except for maybe Air Force. But the Marine Corps, they get treated like dirt. Yeah. They really do. They get pushed around, they get dirt kicked in their face. They don't really have the best living situations or even the best foods and all that, right? Yeah. And people are like, oh, that's so horrible. But the reality is, when they're out in war and they are in the dirt and they are, you know, doing all that stuff, like they're accustomed to it or tolerant to it or whatever you want to call it, like they're literally treated like dirt. So when they go to war, like dirt doesn't really feel like dirt, you know, like it toughens them up. So like when they're out in the battlefield, they're not complaining. Like, oh, I got dirt in my pants, or like, you know, I haven't slept for 2 days. Like that's just a normal thing for them. So like I respect that, and I respect that mentality. But a lot of people are like, bro, like they die for your country and they can't even get a good meal, or like they don't, you know, they're out there in the desert, give them a blanket or something. Like, no, because in war, they ain't gonna care about that. You know, that's the last thing.
That's gonna be hard to come by.
Right. And so like that kind of mentality and that philosophy kind of transitioned to my personal life. Like my leg, or when I get sick, like I see that it like slows me down, or like I stop everything that I'm doing. But and I told myself one time, I was like, oh, I will do all this stuff when I feel better. But it's like, okay, if you're only going to do what you're supposed to do when you feel good, you're not going to feel good all the time.
Right.
So it's like you have to do like in my mind, I'm like, I have to do everything still, no matter how I feel. Yeah. You know, because again, like feeling good, like you're only going to do that when you feel good. Like that's once in a blue moon, especially when you get older. Yeah. So you're going to get less stuff done, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
And so like that's kind of like my mentality recently. But also it's like maybe you should just relax. You know, like maybe your leg should just heal. Like walking on it too much is not good for it, right? Like you got to let it get some rest and stuff like that. But I'm really trying to find that balance. And over the years, like as a kid, you know, your philosophies, like your thoughts, like they're very straightforward, you know? Yeah. And then as you get older, then they kind of change a little bit. And then now, like they say your mindset changes every 7 years, right? Same thing with like your taste buds. I don't know why, but anyways. So now I'm in this transition where it's like, I'm like in between, like, oh, I should rest, or I should work hard, or I should, you know, like, I don't know exactly what I should be doing, like how to balance that. And last year we talked about how like I'm not a big believer in balance. I'm a big believer in like priority. You know what I mean? Because you can't balance, you know, drugs and success like that. That's not a balance. You know. So to me, it's like I'm really kind of like lost in those fields of thinking. So
I feel that, and I feel like, you know, we both went through things, you know, like injuries or, you know, stuff like that, we're kind of having these conversations early on, rather than people in their midlife crisis, like 50s, 40s, have these issues.
Yeah.
And start to think about.
Now they're trying to figure it all out.
Yeah. Whereas we still kind of have time, but at the same time, we're limited.
Yeah, we're limited, and we're going through it right now.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's kind of a mess. And excuse me, last week when we had what's his name? Dylan, when he was talking about, being such a young age and then already having those thoughts of like, oh, what's my purpose? What am I supposed to be doing? And it kind of like made him depressed because he was so young thinking like that. It's very interesting. And I kind of understood it. And even now, like, I still ask myself that same thing.
Yeah.
And I was telling Joe today, you know what? Because we're going to kind of transition a little bit about God, but let's transition that when we come back from break. Last week we had break a little early, so we can stop at the bottom of the hour. So I think we're going to do that this week too. So thank you guys for all listening. Just stay tuned. Hang on real quick. If you're on the freeway, turn back around, exit, come back on. We are going to be talking this whole show until 5 o'clock. So stay tuned. Hang on. You listen to Whatever Works on KCAA.
Like I should. When in dark, walk around the neighborhood. Feeling blessed, never stressed. Got that sunshine on my Sunday best. Yeah.
From the Bureau of Economic Geology, this is Earth Date. In 2014, a landslide began above the Stillaguamish River in Washington. In less than 5 minutes, it had buried a rural neighborhood. 43 people died, while 8 more were carried along and lived to tell the tale. The slide dammed the river, which created a lake 2.5 miles long. As violent and frightening as landslides can be, they're a natural part of the constant erosion and reformation of the earth. Most often, erosion is a very slow process, except about 400 times a year when there's a landslide. They can creep downhill at just a few inches a day, or they can build up speed, hitting nearly 200 miles an hour. Landslides can be massive, moving many cubic miles of earth in a single event. The wind they push in front of them can strip the leaves off trees. Landslides require both gravity and water. Natural erosion, or man-made activities like a road cut, can make a slope overly steep or unstable. Too much water from rainfall, snow, or even groundwater can then weaken the internal cohesion of the soil. After that, it's just waiting for a trigger. That could be a natural tremor from an earthquake or even thunder, or it could be man-made, like vibrations from a mining operation or a train. Studies of the Washington slide have helped us better understand all these contributing factors. And as our knowledge of landslides continues to grow, hopefully we'll get better at getting out of their way. I'm Scott Tinker, and thank you for listening.
Earth Date is produced by the Bureau of Economic Geology at the University of Texas at Austin. Earth Date is researched by Julie Hennings, written by Harry Lynch, and distributed by Mark Blunt and Casey Walker. For more stories, follow us on Facebook or visit earthdate.org.
And now, the voices of KCAA with an exciting announcement.
Want to hear NBC News or KCAA anywhere you go? Well, now there's an app for that.
KCAA is celebrating 25 years and our silver anniversary with a brand new app.
The new KCAA app is now available on your smart device, cell phone, in your car, or any place.
Just search KCAA on Google Play or in the Apple Store.
One touch and you can listen on your car radio, Bluetooth device, Android Auto, or Apple CarPlay.
Catch the KCAA buzz in your earbuds or on the streets, celebrating 25 years of talk, news, and excellence with our new KCAA app.
Just do it and download it.
KCAA, celebrating 25 years.
Come to Hooters, where there's no such thing as a party of one. Located with the 60 and the 215 meet in Riverside, near Merino Valley. For more info, Google Hooters Riverside.
There's only one thing you think of when you think of Hooters. Wings.
Wait,
What?
With more styles, better flavors, and fresher wings, you could only be in the original American wing joint. Get them smoked, bacon wrapped, original style, and now introducing new roasted wings. Roasted crispy to seal in the flavor and seal out half the calories. One taste and you'll think of nothing else.
We'll see about that.
Come to Hooters, where there's no such thing as a party of one. Located with the 60 and the 215 meet in Riverside, near Moreno Valley. For more info, Google Hooters Riverside.
There's only one thing you think of when you think of Hooters. Hooters, the original American wing joint.
Del Walmsley here. The first thing you're going to have to learn is that until you stop expecting our politicians or anyone else to change your life isn't going to change. The only person who can change your life is you, but you need to know how. Listen to my show, the Del Walmsley Radio Show, where the hype ends and the help begins. Right here on KCAA, now broadcasting on 1050 AM and 106.5 FM, the stations that leave no listener behind.
Hey, feeling good, like I should. When in dark, walk around the neighborhood. Feeling blessed, never stressed. Got that sunshine on my Sunday best.
Welcome back, everybody. Happy Sunday. What a blessed Sunday it is. Every day is a blessed day. You guys are listening to Whatever Works on KCAA, 1050 AM and Express, 106.5 FM. I'm your host, Sam Works.
I'm Kyle Kerrigan.
And this is the second half of the show for today. It's every Sunday at 4 o'clock. It used to be the 7 o'clock show. Man, we had amazing guests back in the past, and we do want to bring them back into the new studio here in San Bernardino. Super excited. If you guys are just tuning in and you guys want to listen to the first half of the show, where we talked about the Mike Tyson-Jake Paul fight, we talked about some football.
Your leg.
My leg. A little bit about philosophy, and we're going to continue talking about that in a kind of tail off end here. But, yeah, you guys can go back and listen to any of our episodes and our previous ones. Just look up
KCAA, Whatever Works.
On pretty much every streaming platform.
Yeah, pretty much every streaming platform. Or KCAA Radio on YouTube, and then find our sublink, Whatever Works.
Yeah. And then
Spotify, wherever you want to listen, Audible.
Yeah. And then whoever's listening right now, look, if you guys want to come on the radio, if, for whatever reason, like this show is called Whatever Works. So we had authors, we had doctors, we had moms for Mother's Day, we have artists, we have all walks of life come in. And
We've had people escaping cults.
People who literally just...
Who witness a family tragedy.
Yeah.
Murder, suicide of the family.
That one.
Yeah, we had that. We had some really good shows. Really deep. And every week it gets deep. We had bounty hunters that found children who were taken in trafficking. So this guy can find a child.
How come our show is not, like, blown up? You know what I mean? By now?
Yeah.
Because it's always like a one-hit wonder every few months. Like, like we do have good shows. Like, don't get us wrong, we do have good shows. But then, like, every once in a while, we just have that show where it's just like, oh my goodness, you know, crazy stuff.
Speaking of guests, we have a guest next week.
Oh.
Solomon's older brother, Iverson.
I never met Iverson.
I know he's never met you, but I think you guys will hit it off.
Really?
Yeah, you guys kind of have the same personality. You guys.
Okay, cool. Very interested. Yeah, Solomon is one of Kyle's good friends.
Yeah,
and he's a good guy. So
yeah, he's actually been on here
a couple times.
Yeah.
A couple times.
So. I both him and Iverson, completely two different personalities. Great people, but Iverson is more of a he can talk. He's like my dad. So
older or younger?
Older. He's his older brother, about 10 years older.
Usually older people tend to talk more. No, I'm serious. Like, and I just think
there's one-offs, but no.
Well, I just think it's because they've experienced a lot.
Yeah.
They want to pass down their wisdom.
Yeah.
Or something. I mean, other times they just talk to talk,
Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting. Like, being a server, like all the young people, like sometimes it's an awkward conversation, but talking to old people, it's like it's never awkward.
You ever serve people and then like you try to ask them what to drink and they're like,
yeah,
yeah.
You know how you combat that?
How do you do that? You grab
Take
their
their
phone.
phone.
Yeah. See, we have the same thought process.
Yeah. On the radio, it's bad, especially if you're trying to talk to them.
Like texting.
Yeah, if someone's on their phone and you're like, "What would you like to drink?"
Yeah.
And then they're just not
You're right,
paying any
Joe.
attention
I didn't think
to
of
that. Yeah, but people who are like watching this live, like they see Kyle on his
Yeah,
phone.
true.
But, anyways, the serving industry is very interesting, and I'm super excited that we won't get taxed on our tips anymore. And that's one reason why I'm really trying to, stick to serving. Because, like, my bad leg, like, the last time I had my leg injury, I had to stop working. And this time, it's like, we're back at it again, but I don't want to stop working,
Yeah.
Not that I don't want to stop working, but really it's like, okay, I have a system that's working for me, but if I stop working, that system's not going to work, obviously, like financially. So, and I got big plans.
Okay.
Yeah, big plans. So.
Yeah.
They call me Jamaican. No, I'm just kidding.
What?
No, but you know what it
everywhere?
is?
That's
Okay,
good.
so our board out Joe asked me, he's like, how many jobs do you have? I said 5. But the reason is because, especially in California, you need 2 jobs and a side hustle.
Yeah.
And
I've heard that.
Just to survive.
Yeah.
Not
just to
even not
survive.
even to thrive.
Just to live paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah. So that's why I have 5 jobs. And
because you have a girl.
And until one of the systems can sustain my life without all the other ones, then I will continue to work as hard as I am.
Exactly.
But then at the same time, I'm putting all 100% of my energy in 6 different areas. So like, no wonder one system's not working. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe if I put 100% in one system, maybe that system would work to where I don't need the 6. And it's kind of a catch-22.
Yeah.
But like some of my jobs are, I don't want to say seasonal, but like real estate, for example. Okay. Right now, yes. Are there people moving and buying and selling? Yes. However, we are in the slow season because it's the holidays. Like, unless they have to, no one wants to buy a house or move into a house while the holidays are happening. Right. Usually the hottest time in terms of like market movement is like during spring.
Yeah.
That's when people will get money from their taxes. That's when people are looking. They're in springtime, just buying, selling houses. House markets are crazy. Interest rates tend to drop during those times. So it's like it gets super competitive. It's super hot during that time. But right now, a little slow, especially in California, a little slow. And then with solar cleaning, it's going to get a little more challenging towards this type of season when it starts raining a lot. Because then people are like, well, I don't need you to clean my solars because my solars got washed by the earth. It's like, not really.
No, not really.
That's not really the case.
But,
it's going to get tougher,
Yeah.
Until like the summertime. And
That's like
spring.
taking a shower and just letting the water run down. Oh, I'm clean.
Yeah.
No.
Scrubbing and stuff, and so, and
yeah.
And I mean, what else? Caretaking, that's a blessing. Serving, I don't want to, it is all year long. Like, don't get me wrong, but during the times right now, this is where like a lot of people are going out.
Yeah.
And so there are slower times, slower months, in serving. So everything has its time where it's like, that's what you should be focusing on, but it's just kind of hard when you got a lot. You know what I mean? And so, and even doing the show, we want to make sure we put out some good content for you guys.
Right, exactly.
And having good guests and, continuing to network, like going to the Online Empire. That was great networking.
Yeah, that was really good networking.
That was good,
event.
but having so many jobs, it kind of holds you back from networking the way you want to.
Right, exactly.
Like Kyle and I, we used to go to a place called Top Dog. Don't judge us. Every Sunday after the show, and do some karaoke and do some networking and bring some people on. We had a guy who came on and he was like from Romania, like straight from Romania. Like it was kind of hard to like talk to him. There was like a
language barrier, kind of.
Language barrier, yeah.
I mean, he spoke English good, but
accent was strong.
His accent was very thick.
Yeah, it's probably how he got the ladies, to be honest. And
Yeah.
he did have style too. I was
He
like,
did.
Okay.
Yeah, he
You know.
walked in, and you could tell the aura was changing.
Yeah,
He
for
was
real.
yeah. He
Everyone,
was like
instead of saying like, "Oh, it's that guy," everyone's like, "Here he is." You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like,
it's like everyone knew who he was.
yeah,
And
that's
yeah.
you know. And talking about jobs, I mean, you have a couple jobs too.
Yeah, I have a few. I take care of both my parents full time. We're trying to get the IHSS straightened out. I'm a property inspector. I do that between 30 and 40 hours a week with driving. Class City Entertainment's back. We do this.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so we have our jobs, and then it's like, oh, well, what's your hobby? Well, our hobby is the radio station.
Yeah, no, this is our hobby, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even doing Class City, like that's a
Yeah.
hobby. you
Yeah,
know?
it's a hobby.
So it's really tough. Like we are not. I don't know. And there's a lot of people out there that have like the one job and they're doing good. They're doing solid.
Yeah.
And kudos to you. But it's just for me. Every time a door opens, like I want to walk through it.
Yeah, same here.
I used to say like, oh, I feel like I'm juggling life and I don't even know how to juggle. But now it's like I've been, I've just kind of been consistent with just doing what I have to do, and it seems to be working. Speaking of doing what I have to do, when I first got injured with my leg, I think like the first week, I downloaded Black Ops Mobile.
Yeah, you told me.
Bro, that's all I was doing. I was just playing, and I'm not even a person who plays video games and stuff, but
yeah,
I realized, I was like, okay, right now I'm injured, and I have the opportunity to do what? Work on myself. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I haven't read a book in a while. Like, let me pick up a book. Let me clean my room. Let me, clear my thoughts, rather than let me just doze off and be on my phone all day and just let the battery drain out and be like depressed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so like you can go both ways. And it's easier to be lazy. Like it really
for
is.
sure.
It's easier to just, but you know what they say, like no matter what, you're going to suffer. So like you can either suffer by putting in the work, doing what you got to do, and making yourself like the best version you can, or you can suffer by not doing that and just thinking about what you could be.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it's one or the other. And that's kind of like I'm waiting for my big break where it's like, okay,
Yeah, mine too. Yeah.
either the car rental is going to work out, or the real estate's going to kick off, or solar clean's just going to boom, like I'm doing all these things, and I'm just hoping that maybe one day God would be like, all right,
Here it is. Yeah.
like there's a couple people that we had on the show, and they are pretty successful now. Like they've been growing, and I just feel like I've been almost like stagnant, but maybe it's just not my time. Or maybe they just put in the work that needed to get done, and I'm kind of like half, half doing it, you know what I mean? And so it's a little different.
Yeah. I mean, we had the two brothers on. What were their names?
Oh, Zaid and
Zaid and
Rami.
They saw an opportunity and took it the first minute they could.
And you can't hate on them. That's what I'm saying.
No,
like,
you can't. But like you look at people like them, and they're pretty humble.
Yeah.
And it's about who you surround yourself with too, because they said they dropped all their friends that were deadbeats and didn't want to work with them. And so it's like, you look at people like that and you're happy for them, but you're like, when am I going to get that for myself?
Exactly. Yeah. And I just feel like you might have to do some changes, If you
Yeah.
want to change, you got to change.
Right, exactly.
And that's the hardest part. So, and then there's another one, B&D Property Maintenance. They started 3 years ago, and someone gave them a pressure washer, and they said, go at it. And now they are doing property maintenance for schools, for stadiums, for colleges.
That's right, Blake, yeah.
Yeah, Blake and Devin. B&E? Why?
No.
It's not radio appropriate or what?
Yeah.
Taking and entering. Yeah. So, and
that's not where my mind went.
So, and within 3 years, they went from someone giving them a pressure washer to now they have a fleet of trucks, employees, like the whole nine.
They're doing really good.
They're doing so good. And then I pulled up to the pharmacy, and I was behind them, and there was like a side of me that was like jealous,
Yeah.
And when I was serving, yeah, seriously. And when I was serving a couple months ago, they come in and they had like these presents all wrapped up, and I was like, "Oh, whose birthday is it?" And they're like, "No, it's our third year anniversary."
Oh wow.
And I'm just like, the feeling, like I remember that feeling, and I was like, because I'm doing this, but then they're doing that, and then they see me working at a restaurant, and it's like when I shook one of the guys' hands, which I've been friends with him for a long time, it was kind of like, to me, it felt like he was disappointed in me, because he's like, I've been doing this for 3 years, like, where are you at? And it's like, comparison is like the thief of joy or whatever. And it's like, I try to like pull myself back a little bit from that, because I mean, they did earn it.
They
like,
did, yeah.
3 a.m., 5 a.m., working, and like they had people on their messages on social media like, do you guys ever sleep? And it's like they're just working. And they say it usually takes 3 years to tell if a business is gonna fail or if it's gonna like build. Because in 3 years it's just like having a baby. Like you're gonna be up all night, you're gonna be doing stuff you don't want to do, And they really worked for it, and I'm really happy for them. And there's a lot of them that we had on the show who are killing it,
Yeah.
So I'm super excited for them. And I'm actually glad that Clash City is back. I've never been to one of your guys' shows before.
Yeah.
And I definitely would want to go to one of your shows,
Yeah, the 22nd would be a great start.
And that's in Colton, right?
Colton, yeah.
Yeah.
At 3 Iron Brewing.
So.
Because if that show goes well, then we'll have a contract with them. We'll be doing more shows, so.
Do you guys have like a list of how many people are coming? Do you guys know?
This is Cam's show, technically.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cam brings in a good crowd, too, though.
Yeah. He does, so. Yeah. And he said blue chips forever, so, Yeah, it's going to be good. So we're going to be bringing our people. He's bringing his people, so we'll see where it goes.
Nice. And if it comes out great, you guys are having a signed contract, huh?
Yeah. We'll be there.
I just got a text from my lady. That's funny. Oh, I was going off. All right, so I'm not misogynist, okay? I have a girlfriend. But I was going off recently talking about how men... Okay, let's talk about this. You know how many wars have started because of women? Well, not because, like, just women, but, like, okay, good example, a good start is, like, the movie Troy, okay?
Yeah.
The princess left with the Greek prince of Troy.
Yeah.
After they just made peace with each other. And then now all of a sudden there's a massive war. Countries versus countries.
Yeah.
Because of this one girl, And then I had
Troy was based on the Iliad, wasn't it?
So Troy was based, again, it was the Troy versus the Greeks.
Yeah, okay.
Because the Greeks started to obtain all these surrounding countries. Even like I think Sparta was next. And they had over 50,000 soldiers from Greeks to Athens to like all these people.
Yeah.
And she like slipped away. And then my buddy, who I just really hope he understands, like he left his career. I'm not saying it's the women's fault. It's not. It's the guys' fault. Like the guys really should control their emotions and, figure out what they really need in life. But
yeah,
my buddy left his career that he loved for a woman, came back, and she ended up not being with him, and it kind of destroyed him mentally and emotionally.
Yeah.
And then she came back to him, but this time she has like a baby daddy and a baby and all that stuff, and it's just not good. And I have this guy as one of my my employees for one of my jobs, and it started to affect work, And I'm like, like, don't you understand, bro? Like, she's not good for you.
Yeah.
And I think women are there to bring you up. Like, they are there to be your other half, your better half, and vice versa. Like, men need women and women need men, you know, whether a relationship or not. Like,
Yeah.
even in business, like men need women for certain tasks and women need men for certain tasks. Like, that's just how it is. And Joe. And so that makes the world go around, you know?
Yeah.
But just being with the wrong one, it can really
Yeah, I could damage you.
damage the things around you, damage other relationships. Like, it's just
I'll even take it a step further. Sometimes it takes a lot to realize you were the problem.
yes.
Sometimes in the relationship, whether, like you said, whether you're in the relationship with a woman or friends or coworkers, sometimes you do have to swallow that bullet and realize that you were that problem too.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. How do you know if you're the problem? All right.
Yeah.
So, if one person doesn't like you, okay, that's fine.
Uh-huh.
But if you walk into the room and nobody likes you, you know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah,
not everybody has a bad opinion on you. It's just because, they do. It's because of you. It's not because of them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so it's like you kind of got to do like a lot of self-reflecting, like what I talk about, like read the room, you know, and adjust from there. And honestly, who cares? At the end of the day, like some people are like, who cares what other people think? Right on.
Yeah.
But like at the end of the day, it's like we are social creatures.
Yeah.
We
You
are
have to
here-
care at least a little bit.
Yeah, we have to. If you don't care what other people think, good luck finding a partner. Good luck finding a business to work out. You know, like networking. Like if no one likes you, you cannot win.
Right.
Like if you wanna run fast, all right, run by yourself. But if you want to run a long time, you run with people next to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so like, not even just like men with women's relationships, but like relationships in general.
Yeah.
Like, Kyle, you're my second co-host, but bro, you broke the record of like being a co-host with me. You know, my first co-host was maybe for like a year, maybe less than that. It just didn't work out. We just didn't have that connection, you know. And then you came on. You're like, I'll be your co-host. And I was like, sweet, dude. And it turned out to be one of the best options I could have had, you know. So
3 years.
3 years and counting, you know.
Yeah. But you know, I think what helped too was, you know, we kind of grew up together.
That's true.
You know, I was always at your house because my mom was always working.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I see your mom and dad as mom and dad.
Mm-hmm.
That's just how it is.
Yeah. And when I see your dad, I'm like, "What's up, pops?" You know what I mean? Like, it's a family duo. And that's another thing too. When people say like, "Oh, don't mix business with family and friends," okay, so there's no black and white to that because really, I'm gonna go in business with my family and friends because I trust them. I know them the longest. I know how they operate.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna just choose them because they're family. But I'm going to choose the ones in my family that I know I can, 100%. Like, what are you going to do? Hire some random people to be in a business with you that you don't even know if they're going to stab you in the back, if they're loyal or whatever. Like, sometimes my brothers, they can hate me, but they're still loyal to me.
Right.
And vice versa. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, even though we have, we'll scratch each other's backs no matter what. Sometimes we scratch each other's backs a little too hard, but hey, it's okay, you know? So I really do think, like, being in relationships and being in the right relationships are what's really going to carry you.
Yeah.
So that's my 2 cents of tonight's show. Kyle, what do you have?
You know, I'm actually going to go further. You know, I think hiring family would, depending on the circumstance and the business, you can actually build them up. You know, a lot of people think, oh, you're going to hire family, you're going to get lazy, you're going to get too comfortable. Yes and no. Like
depends
Kylie,
on you.
Yeah, it depends on you. Like Kylie, my niece, when we had Clash City Station, she was like, "Hey, Uncle, let me work with you." We put her to work. We showed her this is what work is.
Yeah, and we're not going to give you any slack.
Yeah, no, we didn't cut her any slack, and she was just one of us. And
so, All right, so find those relationships, find those good ones, and take out the bad ones, y'all. So. Thank you, everyone, for listening to Whatever Works on KCAA. I'm Sam Works.
I'm Kyle Kerrigan.
And we'll see you guys next week with a new guest.
Yep.
Like I should. When in Durga, walk around the neighborhood. Feeling blessed, never stressed. Got that sunshine on my Sunday best.
We supply the words. You paint the picture. KCAA.
Tahibo Tea Club's original Pure Pau D'Arco Super Tea helps build red corpuscles in the blood, which carry oxygen to our organs and cells. Our organs and cells need oxygen to regenerate themselves. The immune system needs oxygen to develop, and cancer dies in oxygen. So the tea is great for healthy people because it helps build the immune system. And it can truly be miraculous for someone fighting a potentially life-threatening disease due to an infection, diabetes, or cancer. The tea is also organic and naturally caffeine-free. A 1-pound package of tea is $49.95, which includes shipping. To order, please visit TahiboTeaClub.com. Tahibo is spelled T like Tom, A-H-E-E, B like boy, O, then continue with the word tea, and then the word club. The complete website is TahiboTeaClub.com. Or call us at 818-610-8088, Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. California time. That's 818-610-8088, TahiboTeaClub.com.
Car Recycling in Fontana reminds all drivers, when you take to the road, remember those 3 C's of safety. That's caution, courtesy, and above all, a little common sense. Safe and sober driving is everyone's responsibility. This message courtesy of Car Recycling at 3800 East Andy Devine in Kingman. Call Car Recycling at 928-757-9888. That's 928-757-9888. That's where Trish and the staff are wishing everyone happy and safe driving.
For over 75 years, the Marine Toys for Tots program has provided toys and emotional support to economically disadvantaged children, primarily during the holidays. But needs are not just seasonal, and now, neither is Toys for Tots. They've expanded their outreach to support families in need all year long, with their new programs, including the Foster Care Initiative, the Native American Program, and the Youth Ambassador Program. To learn how you can help, visit toysfortots.org.
One of the best ways to build a healthier local economy is by shopping locally. Teamster Advantage is a shop local program started by Teamster Local 1932 that has brought together hundreds of locally owned businesses to provide discounts for residents who make shopping locally their priority. Everything from restaurants like Corky's to fun times at SB Raceway and much, much more. If you're not currently a Teamster and you want access to these local business discounts, contact Jennifer at 909-889-8377, extension 224. Give her a call. That number again is 909-889-8377, extension 224.
NBC News Radio, I'm Lisa Carton. Multiple sources indicate President Biden is allowing Ukraine to strike Russia with U.S.-made long-range missiles. Reuters also reports Ukraine plans to launch strikes in the coming days. This comes after news of North Korean soldiers arriving at the front to fight alongside Russian troops. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has been requesting permission to use U.S.-supplied weapons to strike deep inside Russia for months. The White House declined to comment on the reports. President-elect Trump's nominee for Secretary of Defense is admitting he paid a woman who accused him of sexual assault. The attorney for Fox News host Pete Hegseth denies that the alleged assault took place, but says Hegseth paid the woman as part of a civil confidential settlement agreement. His attorney acknowledged that a consensual encounter between Hegseth and the woman happened in 2017, but claimed the sexual assault allegation is merely an attempt to get money from Hegseth. Police in Monterey, California investigated the allegations at the time, but didn't file charges. Federal prosecutors are accusing hip-hop mogul Sean Diddy Combs of attempting to obstruct his criminal sex trafficking case. After a search of the jail where he's being held, prosecutors say they determined Diddy has been contacting witnesses and making calls to people outside of his approved contact list through the phone accounts of 8 other inmates. They also allege Combs has been paying contacts to sway public opinion in his favor through social media posts. One of the most influential U.S. gymnastic coaches has died. Bella Caroli passed away at the age of 82. Caroli and his wife Marta helped build America's gymnastic teams into an Olympic powerhouse in the 1980s through the early 2000s. Have you ever wanted to tell someone to take a hike? Well, you can, because today it's National Take a Hike Day. It's a great way to enjoy nature and lower your stress. You're listening to the latest on NBC News Radio.
NBC News on KCAA Loma Linda, sponsored by Teamsters Local 1932, protecting the future of working families. Teamsters1932.org.
This important time-sensitive message is brought to you by this station's generous sponsor, George Litchfield Associates, who has important Medicare information for all current and future Medicare recipients about some big changes happening. Medicare Clarified. Medicare is a non-profit consumer service organization.
It's more important than ever to review your Medicare plan for 2025 from October 15th through December 7th. To find out if you're in the right plan for you, people are calling 951-769-0005. 951-769-0005. A popular and local Medicare plan is improving. Others are raising copays and adding deductibles. Biggest changes in the Medicare drug program in 15 years.
We thank George Litchfield and Litchfield Insurance for their generous support of this radio station.
Located in the heart of San Bernardino, California, the Teamsters Local 1932 Training Center is designed to train workers for high-demand, good-paying jobs in various industries throughout the Inland Empire. If you want a pathway to a high-paying job and the respect that comes with a union contract, visit 1932trainingcenter.org to enroll today. That's 1932trainingcenter.org.
Martinez Painting HD reminds drivers texting while driving is a leading cause of traffic accidents and fatalities. Do your part, put the phone down while driving. The life you save may be your own. That's a message from Martinez Painting HD, your complete painting contractors with a reputation for quality work at prices you can afford. Check out the reviews on Google and Yelp. Also, find them on Facebook and Instagram. For an estimate, call 760-617-6577. That's Martinez Painting HD in Hesperia, on the air because they care.
Hey Southern California, you know what's going on. It's my new hit show, The Scene with Doreen, and I'm your host, Doreen Taylor. Join me every week as I chat with my celebrity friends from TV, movies, music, theater, sports, and everything in between. We explore the lives and careers of some of the entertainment industry's biggest names, with some fun surprises too. Tune in to The Scene with Doreen Tuesdays at 7 a.m. on KCAA Radio, 1050 a.m.
The local business named Get Loaded Guns and Ammo is a sponsor of this station. Located off the 215 and Barton Road in Grand Terrace, serving the Inland Empire and surrounding areas. Woman-owned and veteran-operated, law enforcement dealer, fully stocked. They have NRA-certified firearms training classes you can attend, supporting all your Second Amendment rights. The local business named Get Loaded Guns and Ammo is a sponsor of this station.
Tahibo Tea Club's original Pure Pau d'Arco Super Tea helps build red corpuscles in the blood which carry oxygen to our organs and cells. Our organs and cells need oxygen to regenerate themselves. The immune system needs oxygen to develop, and cancer dies in oxygen. So the tea is great for healthy people because it helps build the immune system, and it can truly be miraculous for someone fighting a potentially life-threatening disease due to an infection, diabetes, or cancer. The tea is also organic and naturally caffeine-free. A 1-pound package of tea is $49.95, which includes shipping. To order, please visit TahiboTeaClub.com. Tahibo is spelled T like Tom, A-H-E-E-B like boy, O, then continue with the word tea and then the word club. The complete website is TahiboTeaClub.com, or call us at 818-610-8088, Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. California time. That's 818-610-8088, TahiboTeaClub.com.
Tune in to The Ferran Dozier Show. Music marks place and time, the soundtrack to life, Sunday nights at 8 p.m. on KCAA Radio. Playing the hottest hits and the coolest conversations, Sunday nights at 8 p.m. on The Ferran Dozier Show, with an array of music, talk, sports, community outreach, and veteran resources, with hits from the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and today's hits. The Ferran Dozier Show on KCAA Radio, on all available streaming platforms and 106.5 FM and 1050 AM. The Ferran Dozier Show on KCAA Radio.
KCAA.
TV journalist Jane Velez Mitchell here, excited to tell you about my show, Unchained TV, Animals, People, Planet. Most of us say we love animals. When we truly respect them, we benefit with a happier outlook, better health, even nicer weather. I'll explain when you join me Mondays at 1 p.m. on KCAA 1050 AM 106.5 FM, the stations that leave no listener behind. And check out UnchainedTV.com.
Did you know here at KCAA 1050 AM that we developed an app for all your Android devices? We're talking about your smartphone, your tablets, you name it. You have an Android format, you can take KCAA with you everywhere you go. We're talking about our audio stream, our video stream, and even our podcast. Go to KCAAexpress.com. That's KCAAexpress.com. KCAAexpress.com.
KCAA.